If you ever see wolves and ravens together, just know somebody or something is gonna meet God. Scientists realize that in certain parts of Canada, wolves and ravens work together for hunting. That is terrifying. Talk about a scary friendship. But they don't just work together. They've actually developed a strategy, a flawless strategy when it comes to filling their bellies. Basically, what they do is the ravens will take flight and get an aerial view of the entire surrounding area. They're basically the eyes of the operation. They'll scout out any animals or groups of animals that could be a potential meal for the wolves. And once they have the entire area mapped out and they know where all the prey is, they go and contact their carnivorous four-legged friends, being the wolves. And this is where things get crazy, because then the ravens will lead the wolves to these animals. After that, the ravens just sit back and let the wolves do what they do best: sink teeth into flesh. What's cool about this is the ravens will not set the wolves up for failure. They're not going to lead 3 wolves to a bear. However, they will lead 20 wolves to a bear, because they want to make sure the wolves win. And once it's all said and done and the wolves claim their kill, the wolves and ravens will split the meal. That, ladies and gentlemen, is genius. That's a win-win for everybody. Except the food. But the best part is when the wolves are going to hunt this animal, you want to know what the ravens are doing? They sit back and babysit the wolf pups. That's crazy. And they try to say that the perfect relationship doesn't exist. Hopefully you never end up in this position, but if you're ever lost in Africa and you have no food, that's the bird you need to find. That is a honey guide, and they get their name because they will literally guide people to honey. The locals and the nearby tribes have had a partnership with honey guides for generations. And here's how it works. Basically, like I said, the honey guides will go and contact humans and they'll lead them to honey, but they do it for a reason. The honey guide's main food source is honey. There's just one problem. They can't get it themselves because they can't take the sting of a bee. It will put them out immediately. So instead, they get you to do it for them. And they expect you to share, which is in your best interest. You see, when a honey guide leads you to honey and you don't share with them, they'll remember that. They don't take that very lightly. And basically what the honey guide will do is the next time they guide someone, they're not gonna guide them to honey. Nope. Instead, if you don't share, they're gonna guide you to a predator, like a lion, or a hornet's nest, or a venomous snake, like a black mamba. I'll tell you one thing, they know how to teach manners. Moral of the story, your life is in their wings. Make sure you tip your honey guide. 99% of people who watch this video are probably confident that tarantula is gonna eat that frog. And for those 99% of people, you'd be wrong. Let me explain. Now don't get it twisted. Frogs are on a tarantula's menu. It's one of their favorite dishes. But first, they taste test the frog. And if the frog doesn't taste very good, they just let it go. And if it does taste good, well, they eat it. However, there's a third option. Scientists realize that after a tarantula lays its eggs and then finds a frog and doesn't like the taste of the frog, they won't let it go or eat it. Instead, they will literally bring it home and keep it as a pet. I wouldn't say pet, actually, more like a guard frog. It's about accurate. Basically, the frog will eat any predatory insects or ants that come into the burrow and try to eat the eggs. In return, the tarantula will protect the frog from predators like snakes or other tarantulas. It's awesome. Both of them stay safe, they benefit from it, it's a beautiful relationship. But you're probably wondering, what happens after the eggs hatch? You would think that after the frog is no longer useful, the tarantula will just eat it. Not the case. Instead, they actually grow a bond to each other, and the tarantula will protect the frog for the rest of its life. They actually become lifelong friends. They'll hang out together. Sometimes the frog will even ride the tarantula. I'm kind of jealous of a tarantula. What has life come to? These two predators have been observed working together, and it's really unfair because they literally cover each other's weaknesses. Badgers are incredible diggers, and they've been known to dig right into an animal's burrow and grab them. But if the animal takes off running, the badger's cooked. They're not that fast. Coyotes, on the other hand, are really fast. They specialize in chasing animals down. But if that animal runs into its burrow, the coyote's cooked They can't dig. You get where I'm going here? When these two animals get together, they hunt in a style known as the ping pong effect. Basically, the badger will dig into a burrow, get the animal to come up where the coyote will chase it down. And eventually that animal will run back into its burrow where the badger will start digging again. And they'll do this over and over on repeat until that animal becomes so exhausted that it just gives up. And whoever catches the animal between the badger and the coyote gets the meal. They have a mutual agreement on this. Regardless, they're both going to eat more because their hunting success percentage goes up 33% each. As you probably know, crocodiles are the bite force king of the world. Coming anywhere near that mouth is a really fast way to find out what the pearly gates look like. However, the plover has an exception. And by exception, I mean the crocodile will literally allow them to hang out in their mouth without ending their existence. And that's because the plover will eat the food in between the crocodile's teeth. That could be flesh from a previous kill, bones, or even things just from the water. It's a simple, easy food source for the plover, and the crocodile gets some dental hygiene, which will cause their teeth to last longer. The only thing I want to know is, how did the bird figure that out? Did it just climb into a crocodile's mouth one day? Birds are dumb. Anemones are fully carnivorous creatures covered in stinging cells. You might remember them from Finding Nemo. They'll eat plankton, small crustaceans, or basically any small animal they could get a hold of. The only problem for them is they're not mobile. They can't move. The boxing crab, on the other hand, is just a crab that boxes. They literally throw punches. The only problem is their punches don't do very much. It's not a very good defense mechanism when you're this big. So instead, what a boxing crab will do is they'll take two anemones and wrap them around their hands. So those anemones basically become their boxing gloves. They use another living creature as their boxing gloves. That's gangster. But it basically makes it where the boxing crab can throw a venomous punch. That sounds crazy to say out loud. Not to mention, when other creatures like predators notice the anemones on the boxing crab's claws, they won't mess with them. They don't want to get stung for a tiny little meal. That's called intelligence. And for the anemone, the boxing crab basically makes them mobile. The crab will basically walk around with his hands down, dragging the anemones through the dirt. This allows them to feed on far more plankton than they normally would. About 10 times more to be exact, even though this one seems kind of unbalanced. I'd rather be the crab. I'm not trying to get dragged through dirt. And just like that, you have now learned about 6 of the coolest symbiotic relationships in the whole animal kingdom. If you enjoyed the video, make sure you subscribe and maybe drop a thumbs up. I need you, just like these animals need each other. Symbiotic relationship, you know? Other than that, as always, subscribe for more facts.